Now at 9, a new law proposed to increase sentences for accessory to murder convictions, sparked by a controversial release, what it could mean for future cases.
The Seneca Fire Protection District is asking voters to approve their first tax increase since 1988. I'm Samantha Walker, and I'll have that story coming up.
Russia takes a wait-and-see approach to a new ceasefire proposal for Ukraine. I'm Lucas Tomlinson in Washington. I'll have the details coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Laura and Ashley's Law passes the Oklahoma House of Representatives. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. 25 years ago, 2 16-year-old girls went missing from Welch, Oklahoma. It's a cold case that's outlived 2 of the 3 suspects and is now making waves in the Oklahoma legislature. Today, Representative Steve Bayshore presented Laura and Ashley's Law to the full House of Representatives. House Bill 1001 would require individuals convicted of accessory to murder to serve at least 85% of their sentence. The legislation addresses the reduced prison sentence of Ronnie Busick, who in 2020 was sentenced to 10 years in prison. But because of good behavior and time credited while in county jail, Busick was released after just 3 years in prison, back into the area where he committed his crimes and where family members of the victims still live. Laura Bible's mother, Lorene, was in attendance today at the Capitol. She's been a part of the investigation since day one and still hopes to one day find the bodies of both her daughter and Ashley Freeman.
And she is on a mission, and she's still looking for her daughter, and she's not going to quit until she does. And the least I can do is to try to help her in some way and to give her some satisfaction and some closure at some point.
Laura and Ashley's Law passed the House on a vote of 76 to 11. It now moves to the Senate. Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty joins us now with a first look at weather.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a nice Wednesday for us today. Did get a lot of clouds during the afternoon, but temperature is fantastic. 75 for a high. Started at 55. Look at this. Almost our average high for this time of the year. And we're going to see these great temperatures sticking around. At least the winds are fairly calm for now. But that's going to be changing as we go through the next few days. Not so much tomorrow. More so on Friday. We'll slide back to about 52, rebound to 63 by 10 a.m. We have some clouds kind of rotating through. A couple random showers could pop up in our far southern counties, but most of the action is going to stay well to our south as we go through the overnight hours. Near 80 degrees, really continue the next couple days. The winds really get going on Friday. We are going to get some scattered thunderstorms on Friday and then cooling down as well for the weekend. I'll have all those details for you here in just a bit.
Thanks, Doug. Well, Carthage voters have some big decisions to make affecting the Carthage School District. One initiative on the ballot is an operating levy, a tax increase meant to give teachers a pay hike. The second ballot issue is a bond that would build a performing arts auditorium. As KOAM's Melissa Alexis reports, the Carthage superintendent believes both of these will improve Carthage schools.
I think most people believe that teachers are worth it and deserve it.
The Carthage School District wants to raise the current operating levy from $3.05 to $3.60, a 55-cent property tax increase. And this would be put towards a salary increase for Carthage teachers.
A more competitive wage. Carthage has recently fallen behind with our salary schedules with our local neighboring school districts. And we're trying to fix that issue.
Currently, Carthage has the lowest teacher starting salary of any school in the Ozark Conference, leading to a difficult time recruiting teachers.
What happens in our school districts now has an impact on our community later. And so it's vital to be able to attract good teachers and to also retain those teachers.
The second issue on the ballot is a bond that would go towards building an auditorium for performing arts, including choir, theater, and band students. It'll also include a tornado safety shelter.
Now our classrooms at the high school are undersized for our band and choir program. This would provide an adequate space. The auditorium would also provide a FEMA shelter. Right now the high school campus does not have a FEMA shelter. And so, there is a safety aspect to it.
Through the additional space, the district would pursue a junior ROTC program. The bond would not increase taxes, only extending the current tax. The superintendent says he thinks both issues on the ballot will improve Carthage schools if approved. But he says many who oppose the operating levy feel that way due to the tax increase.
On the opposite side, I think the biggest complaint is just that they don't want to see taxes increase. We understand that. We wouldn't be asking if we didn't feel it was necessary.
That was Melissa Alexis reporting. The Seneca Area Fire Protection District is also asking voters to approve a tax increase. If approved on April 8th, it would be the first tax rate increase for the district in decades. KOAM's Samantha Walker has details.
The Seneca Area Fire Protection District says they're seeking a tax rate increase to help address rising equipment costs. The district's call volume has increased by 300% over the years, and staff say the need to update equipment to keep up is clear.
It is a real struggle just to send a firefighter into a burning building. It costs about $15,000 in equipment to be able to send them inside. And so that's a huge substantial cost for us when our budget is roughly $160,000 every year.
If passed, the increase would nearly double the tax rate to roughly 53 cents per $100 of assessed property valuation. According to the fire district, if you own a property assessed at $75,000, your taxes would increase from $38 to $74. The district has not had a tax rate increase since it was started in 1988. Staff say while the rate hasn't changed, the price of proper equipment has.
Nowadays, that truck costs $150,000. Back in 1988, that truck would be looking at $40,000 to $50,000. In order to purchase one of those trucks new, it would require our full budget, if not more.
If approved, the district plans to focus on updating equipment and making sure all volunteers have safe turnouts. The district currently has roughly 20 volunteers, but they say the increase would allow for them to recruit and equip more.
Just looking at today's fires, they're growing 12 times as fast as what they were when we started the district. And so our need to respond quicker with better equipment is today more dire than ever before.
The vote for the tax proposition will be held April 8th. Reporting in Newton County, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
This Saturday, the fire district is hosting an open house for the community where the public can ask questions about the tax increase. You can learn more on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, firefighters rescued a worker trapped in a stalled cargo elevator at the Blue Buffalo in Joplin. Crews from stations 5 and 7 used ropes and rigging to safely remove the individual through the elevator shaft to the 3rd floor. The worker was not injured. Firefighters say training and teamwork made the rescue a success. Well, don't blink. That was a car flying through a backyard in the Osceola neighborhood in Webb City. Webb City Fire Department is asking the public for help in identifying the gray Toyota. Security video shows the car speeding through a wooded backyard, narrowly missing a residence before fleeing the scene. Authorities say the vehicle had heavy driver side damage. If you recognize it, contact the Webb City Police. Well, coming up, cracking down on ultra-processed foods.
RFK Jr. is stepping up his MAHA efforts to make America healthy again. I'm Griff Jenkins in Washington. I've got the details coming up.
And later, scammers posing as Liberty Utilities find a new way to swindle victims.
It's on sale now for the Odd Couple female version.
As spring break travel picks up, health officials are raising concerns about a surge in measles cases across the U.S. So far, there are more than 220 reported cases across 12 states this year. Doctors say the highly contagious virus could spread further after spring break, especially among the unvaccinated. The CDC urges vaccination, calling it the most effective way to prevent infection. Well, how much of your daily diet is made up of ultra-processed foods? If you're like most Americans, the answer is probably too much. And now there's a new push to do something about it and make America healthy again. Fox News correspondent Griff Jenkins has more from Washington.
This one's ultra-processed. This one is not.
HHS Secretary Robert Kennedy Jr. wants to make big changes to America's food supply. He ramped up his efforts this week, meeting with the heads of Pepsi, Kellogg's, General Mills, and other makers of ultra-processed foods, hoping to come to consensus on the need to get dangerous chemicals out of our diets and discourage Americans from eating unhealthy snacks.
They're designed to be irresistibly delicious, if not addictive. They have lots and lots of added sugar, salt, and different kinds of additives.
The effort is starting with plans to end a loophole called Generally Recognized as Safe, or GRAS, which allows food manufacturers to bypass the FDA when adding new ingredients or chemicals to their products. Kennedy wants to eliminate it and force manufacturers to disclose any new substances they use while also providing data showing they're safe.
The school lunch programs, the CHIPS programs, it's mainly ultra-processed food, and we need to change that, and we are going to change that.
But it won't be easy. The food industry has been lobbying for decades against changing the system. And some experts say there are so many ultra-processed foods out there, banning them could disrupt the food supply.
I worry about the big ones, the ones that, you've got a bag of cookies in front of you, you just can't stop eating them. Those are the ones you have to worry about.
The FDA says right now, ultra-processed foods make up about 60% of the average American diet. In Washington, Griff Jenkins, Fox News.
Well, Doug is next with a complete look at your forecast, and later, DOGE protest.
Protests continue in response to Elon Musk's government-saving initiative. I'm Rebecca Castor in Washington with the latest pushback to DOGE coming up.
Get your tickets for PCT's production of Lend Me a Center for the Arts.
Well, definitely turned out to be another nice day for us today. Temperatures fantastic across the region. Most of us went into the mid, if not upper 70s, and we don't drop off that much for us tonight. Eventually down to about 52, but here shortly, 11 p.m., 61, and then back to 54 by 7 a.m., 63 by 10 a.m. A lot of clouds kind of rotating through. We have a weak wave passing to our south, and we have had a little bit of severe weather once you get down through eastern Texas, northern parts of Louisiana, and that's where most of the severe weather is going to stay tonight, kind of in this yellow bubble just south of the region. But we can't rule out a random pop-up shower in our far southern counties. Most of you will be not affected from this weak system. Stronger storm system moving into the western third of the country. This system will affect us, especially on Friday. Not so much with showers and thunderstorms, but mainly the wind is really going to return. As it pushes through, the moisture is going to be a little bit limited. We should get some scattered thunderstorms, but the big time severe weather kind of gets going just east of us, especially eastern Missouri down toward Jonesboro and also Memphis. But we will get a few scattered thunderstorms in here, especially on the Missouri side. But luckily, we should not have to deal with much in the way of severe weather. We will have to deal with the wind. Southerly winds tomorrow, not too bad, south 10 to 15. But look at this, they get moving by Friday. We should have gusts 40 to 50, maybe a few 55s out there. Stays very windy Friday evening, then finally the winds start to come down a bit as we get into Saturday. So this is kind of a trash can in the neighbor's yard, or maybe even two houses down type situation. So you probably want to buckle those down just a bit as we get into Friday. All right, let me take you through time. So as we go into the morning hours, most of us low to mid 50s. Not bad. We get some sunshine, especially tomorrow afternoon. Quick warm up. I'll stop this at about 4 p.m. Most of us 79, 80, maybe even 81 degrees. So a fantastic Thursday. Heading into Friday morning, we drop back only upper 50s. And then we warm again, mid 70s. Here's our dry line. So this is early afternoon. A few scattered thunderstorms will start to pop up, but they really don't get moving until they get east of the region. But we should get a few scattered in southwestern Missouri, and then the severe weather will start to take off as it rolls off toward the east. Day planner on your Thursday, 54 in the morning, 71 by noon. Fantastic. High temp, 81 degrees. On the colder side of the system by Saturday, we'll be into the 50s, a few showers during the evening, then we should clear out. And Sunday will shape up to be a pretty good day. All right, let's go 81 on your Thursday, 77 on Friday, down into the 50s Saturday and Sunday, but back into the 70s on Monday and Tuesday, just kind of up and down next week with a chance for thunderstorms on Tuesday.
Well, artists of all ages and abilities gathered at Pittsburgh State University today for the 5th annual Artist Trading Card event. The event, hosted by Kappa Pi and the Art Honorary Society, featured a display of trading cards turned into works of art. Creators had the opportunity to swap cards with others, encouraging a community celebration of creativity.
It's kind of fast and furious because everyone's really excited when you get here, and then it's like, I better trade my cards fast or else, maybe the selection won't be as strong. So I would say it kind of wrapped up in an hour.
The event, held in Porter Hall Galleries, provided a platform for local artists to connect and share their artwork. Well, coming up, the Neosho Police Department is warning residents about a new billing scam. Find out how an unsuspecting resident fell victim to the scammer posing as a Liberty Utilities bill collector over the phone.
Go green at our Veterans First St. Patrick's Day Fun Night, Saturday, March 15th.
Meal and finish it off with some serious gaming entertainment. Details at highwindscasino.com.
Nominate your First Aid hero today.
Neosho police warn about a new internet billing scam after a resident fell victim to a suspect posing as a Liberty Utilities bill collector. Anthony Saviello spoke with police and has more on how you should protect yourself.
It could happen to anyone.
We find that a lot of people that are not familiar with the internet and things like that, the older generation are the ones that are normally falling prey to this.
At any time.
Last week we received information from a victim that he had fallen victim of a new scam. He was contacted by a subject posing as a bill collector for Liberty Utilities.
At your most vulnerable moment.
He was behind on his bill. He knew that, so it seemed more legitimate to him. So he went ahead and processed it.
But there are ways for you to detect whether you are about to be a victim of a scam.
Ask some questions before you just give them some information. We advise everybody that, the first thing you should do is ask a few questions of your own.
Liberty Utilities released in a statement how to find out whether the person on the phone is truly with the company. Liberty says that, quote, if the representative asks for immediate payments, says immediate work needs to be done, or says your utilities will be turned off immediately unless there is a payment, it is very likely they are a scammer. This isn't the first time Lieutenant Mike Sharp has had to deal with residents falling victim to scams.
We were dealing with stuff where they were portraying as law enforcement and calling people and saying, hey, your son or nephew or whatever is in jail. He needs to pay his warrants to get him bailed out, and people would fall for that.
Unfortunately, those who fall victim may never see their money again.
It's too late for them to do anything. They do have their IT department working on it. I haven't heard any updates on that at this time.
In Neosho, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
All of this comes as Liberty is under a state investigation for their billing and customer service. Missouri Southern State University was a hot spot for future careers today. The college held its annual spring career fair with more than 100 companies attending. Students explored careers and graduate school opportunities, from networking to turning in resumes.
Missouri Southern hosts our spring career fair so that we can hopefully equip and inform them on the wide variety of careers that are available here right in the four-state community.
MSSU also offers students a chance to search for an internship with an expo this fall. Well, Pittsburgh has a new mural highlighting both the state of Kansas and Pittsburgh State University. We're going to show you where to find it next. The city of Pittsburgh collaborates with a local artist and Pittsburgh Beautiful for a new mural. It's located at the Four Oaks RV Park's restroom, and the artist is Jenna Spencer. Her piece outlines the state of Kansas with a color scheme representing Pittsburgh State University, and she completed it today.
Having people who don't normally see art have that opportunity to think about it, to enjoy it. A lot of people like to take photos with them. Just like I said, it gives a sense of art to this community as well. So.
Explore Crawford County now plans to put a QR code sign up that will lead folks to places to visit, eat, and shop. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. Another day, another round of layoffs and shrinking government as protesters fan out to call for everything from protecting federal workers from DOGE to saving Medicare and Medicaid. And Russia says it needs to hear directly from the U.S. before it commits to any peace proposals, including the 30-day ceasefire the Ukrainians agreed to on Tuesday.
You're watching the Four States most watched news.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. Large protests against DOGE are ramping up in Washington as Elon Musk fends off financial attacks. President Trump, however, has quickly stepped in to defend his close ally. Fox News correspondent Rebecca Castor explains.
No healthcare, no peace.
Hundreds of protesters marching to the U.S. Capitol Wednesday to call on Congress to protect Medicare and Medicaid. Democrats are worried entitlement programs are next on DOGE's target list as Elon Musk presses on with his cost-cutting crusade.
Here's their plan. Memorize these words. Families lose, billionaires win.
But Musk and President Trump promise they're only going after fraud, not cutting benefits.
Only by tackling the waste and fraud in entitlements like Social Security, Medicare, can we actually preserve those programs for the future. Because with unchecked fraud and waste, we won't be able to afford them.
Either way, Musk is dealing with plenty of pushback, and so are his companies. Across the country, a number of Tesla vehicles and dealerships have been vandalized. And after its stock plunged, Trump took matters into his own hands, hosting a Tesla car show at the White House.
He didn't ask me for this. I said, you know, Elon, I don't like what's happening to you, and Tesla's a great company. I don't like what's happening.
What do you think Americans think of that when they see Trump pushing Elon Musk, the richest man in the world's Teslas?
The Washington Post reports the Social Security Administration is considering cutting at least one of its phone programs as part of DOGE's cost-saving measures. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
President Trump's 25% tariff on all steel and aluminum coming into the U.S. is now in effect. The tax hit key U.S. allies such as Canada, South Korea, and the European Union, among others. Now, Trump says the country will eventually boom and that U.S. steel and aluminum industries applaud the tariffs, saying it will eventually grow their industry here. Wall Street has not been applauding, though. The Dow plunged more than 470 points yesterday after Trump threatened to double the tax on Canadian steel and aluminum. He was responding to Ontario's surcharge on electricity for U.S. customers, but Ontario's premier later backed down. Russia says maybe to a new White House proposal that would temporarily stop the fighting in Ukraine. Fox News correspondent Lucas Tomlinson has more from Washington.
Ukraine has agreed to it, and hopefully Russia will agree to it.
The U.S. is now resuming arms shipments and intelligence sharing with Ukraine after officials agreed to a 30-day ceasefire, and on Wednesday, Russia responded saying it won't make a decision on any peace plans until it receives an official proposal through diplomatic channels.
The only way you're going to have peace is through negotiation, and so we need to start that process.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio heading to Canada Wednesday to coordinate with G7 allies, looking for a way to guarantee Ukraine's security amid concerns Russian President Vladimir Putin would simply disregard any long-term agreements.
They've broken ceasefires, most recently in 2019, but this time might be different. Vladimir Putin has really suffered hundreds of thousands of casualties to his forces.
The main sticking point? Moscow's insistence on keeping areas it captured from Ukraine in the early days of the war, claiming civilians there want to be part of Russia.
Most of them speak Russian. They were brought as part of the Russian culture, and they want their kids to know Russian.
Rubio says he discussed land concessions with Ukraine. There's been no breakthrough so far, but the Ukrainians say they're committed to the peace process.
We stand for a just and comprehensive peace for Ukraine because this is also a guarantee of security in Europe.
President Trump is expected to discuss the ceasefire deal with NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte at the White House Thursday. In Washington, Lucas Tomlinson, Fox News.
Well, Doug is next with a complete look at your forecast, and later, women in business.
Women in Carthage get a very powerful message from a very motivational speaker. I'm Lonnie Walton in Carthage. I'll have that story coming up.
Well, it definitely turned out to be another nice day for us today. Temperatures fantastic across the region. Most of us went into the mid, if not upper 70s, and we don't drop off that much for us tonight. Eventually down to about 52, but here shortly, 11 p.m., 61, and then back to 54 by 7 a.m., 63 by 10 a.m. A lot of clouds kind of rotating through. We have a weak wave passing to our south, and we have had a little bit of severe weather once you get down through eastern Texas, northern parts of Louisiana, and that's where most of the severe weather is going to stay tonight, kind of in this yellow bubble just south of the region. But we can't rule out a random pop-up shower in our far southern counties. Most of you will be not affected from this weak system. Stronger storm system moving into the western third of the country. This system will affect us, especially on Friday. Not so much with showers and thunderstorms, but mainly the wind is really going to return. As it pushes through, the moisture is going to be a little bit limited. We should get some scattered thunderstorms, but the big time severe weather kind of gets going just east of us, especially eastern Missouri down toward Jonesboro and also Memphis. But we will get a few scattered thunderstorms in here, especially on the Missouri side. But luckily, we should not have to deal with much in the way of severe weather. We will have to deal with the wind. Southerly winds tomorrow, not too bad, south 10 to 15. But look at this, they get moving by Friday. We should have gusts 40 to 50, maybe a few 55s out there. Stays very windy Friday evening, then finally the winds start to come down a bit as we get into Saturday. So this is kind of a trash can in the neighbor's yard, or maybe even two houses down type situation. So you probably want to buckle those down just a bit as we get into Friday. All right, let me take you through time. So as we go into the morning hours, most of us low to mid 50s. Not bad. We get some sunshine, especially tomorrow afternoon. Quick warm up. I'll stop this at about 4 p.m. Most of us 79, 80, maybe even 81 degrees. So a fantastic Thursday. Heading into Friday morning, we drop back only upper 50s. And then we warm again, mid 70s. Here's our dry line. So this is early afternoon. A few scattered thunderstorms will start to pop up, but they really don't get moving until they get east of the region. But we should get a few scattered in southwestern Missouri, and then the severe weather will start to take off as it rolls off toward the east. Day planner on your Thursday, 54 in the morning, 71 by noon. Fantastic. High temp, 81 degrees. On the colder side of the system by Saturday, we'll be into the 50s, a few showers during the evening, then we should clear out, and Sunday will shape up to be a pretty good day. All right, let's go 81 on your Thursday, 77 on Friday, down into the 50s, Saturday and Sunday, but back into the 70s on Monday and Tuesday, just kind of up and down next week with a chance for thunderstorms on Tuesday.
All right, well, you could be the first to know about the day's weather with the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone, free of charge. It's available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. It's called the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Coming up in sports, 4 of our local high school basketball teams play in the state quarterfinals. Plus, a couple of McDonald County Mustangs signed to play sports at the next level. John Dales has those stories and more up next.
Tickets on sale now for the Odd Couple.
It's state tournament time for high school basketball in Kansas, and a handful of our local teams are in action this afternoon into this evening. We'll start with Colgan boys basketball. Unfortunately, the Panthers season comes to a close this afternoon. They fall in the quarterfinals 58-25 to Mound Ridge, who's the #1 seed, defending state champ, and undefeated on the year. Colgan ends the season with a record of 13-11. And moving to Class 1A Division I, the girls from Colony Crest also fall to undefeated 1 seed. That's Little River in the quarterfinals over in Dodge City, 76-27 the final score there. Now the girls' Class 3A state tournament, Neodesha also comes up short this afternoon, Lady Streaks fall to 2-seed Halstead 50-33. They finished the year with a record of 18-4. Then later this evening, Girard girls basketball also ends up losing at the 3A state tournament in Hutchinson. Lady Trojans fall to the defending state champions Silver Lake 56-45. Trojans finished the year with just 3 losses. 2 of those came against the Eagles. Missouri Southern softball has played just 2 home games so far this season, but over the next couple weeks, the Lions play 12 consecutive games, all in Joplin. Lions get that homestand started with a couple of victories this afternoon. They take down Maryville 8-0 in the first end of a doubleheader. Kiki Pickens gets the win in the circle for that one. Then Southern wins 4-3 in the second contest, and we've got highlights from both ends of the doubleheader available on our website, koamnewsnow.com/sports. Now to Missouri Southern baseball, taking on Drury. We start in the 4th, tied at 2. Drew Townsend at the plate. He ropes one into center field. That's going to fall in for a hit, and he's got a stand-up double. However, Lions leave him stranded there. They can't capitalize on the 2-out hit. We go ahead to the 5th inning. Southern now down 3-2. Braden Lucart starts the inning off with a single into right field. That gets a bit of a rally going. Then Jacob Phillip lays down a great bunt to not only advance the runner, but he's safe over at first. Later in the frame, runners on second and third, 2 out. Tragan Parker grounds out to the second baseman. Lions just couldn't get their bats going with men in scoring position. Now Drury's Gabe Russell at the plate in the 6th with 2 men on, and he crushes this pitch to deep right and gone. The 3-run homer makes it 6-2 Panthers. Lions lose 7-4. They drop to 12-8 in the season. They'll welcome Arkansas Fort Smith on Friday for a 3-game series. And over at McDonald County High School, it's a very exciting morning for a couple of Mustang student athletes headed to the next level. McDonald County High School seniors Anthony D'Amico and Kenzie Horton, both of them sign letters of intent. D'Amico, the Mustangs' starting quarterback on their football team, he's headed to Westminster College to continue his football career. And Horton signs with Drury University, where she'll be on both the track and dance teams.
Do whatever I can for the team, be the best I can, work the hardest I can, do whatever the team needs me to do, all that. It's really cool, they grew me up. I've been here since I was born, and so being able to represent them in college, it's just a really cool feeling.
I've always wanted to dance in college, like before I started high school, and then I got to high school and I was doing really good in track, and I was like, oh my gosh, I should run track in college.
Back to those high school basketball games. Obviously 0-4, not the start we were hoping to at state. We got 3 more chances tomorrow, though. Galena boys basketball, they're undefeated. Colgan girls basketball, they're the #1 seed in 2A. And then Labette County girls basketball also playing.
Hopefully they can flip it and all 3 get a win.
I hope so. Yeah.
All right, thanks, John. We're back with more news after this. The Carthage, Missouri Chamber of Commerce hosted an Empowering Women in Business luncheon today. Author and power coach Anita Brooks spoke during the event. KOAM's Lonnie Walton shares her message.
I really like to be able to help people, and I think you can do more of that. As with the chamber, you can help all the different businesses, you can help the community.
Stephanie Howard is a chamber member and works with the Carthage Water and Electric. While work can at times be stressful, today she's regaining her strength through this empowering event by power coach Anita Brooks.
As women, we fulfill a lot of different roles, and sometimes one will overcome the other. So I think it's really important when we can find that balance and have help in reaffirming that.
Balancing your life is what Anita Brooks is trying to do. She has a lot of advice on how taking care of your needs can help you become more successful in the workplace. She says that's what builds a strong business.
I want to help increase the income. I want to help prime the profits, and I want to strengthen the sustainability of American businesses because I want American businesses to be strong.
Julie Reams, president of Carthage Chamber, says Brooks isn't only hitting points that help during work.
I think what was talked about today was all of us taking 10 steps back can answer those questions about, death and how to prepare and live our life every day to the fullest.
And if you're wondering how Brooks got all of her wisdom, she says it didn't come from her, but from her faith.
Faith is what gives me the strength and the wisdom and the insight to be able to go into these businesses and actually see things that so many other people overlook.
And Howard says she's taken all this advice to heart.
I try to take those top 4 and work that into my daily life.
Reporting in Carthage, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
One of the biggest teaching points Brooke emphasized is making sure you keep up with your friendships and follow your goals before it's too late. Up next, we bring you a look at director Steven Soderbergh's new spy drama, Black Bag. Lead the star-studded spy thriller Black Bag. As the film heads to theaters this week, we have a preview with the cast. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin.
Black Bag. Steven Soderbergh's new film Black Bag is about a married spy couple, one of which is suspected of betraying the country. Its cast includes Michael Fassbender, Cate Blanchett, Regé-Jean Page, and Marisa Abela. The stars spoke about how the film is as much about marriage and trust as it is a whodunit.
I think it's pretty much, an analogy for that at the core of, and then, introducing it into a very extraordinary world like, the spy world. But for sure, it's like, how do you make a marriage last and not only maintain it, but, how does it thrive?
It's what relationships feel like. It's what's everything that you deal with trust and how you trust each other, but what if the fate of the world was actually at stake?
Those kinds of questions that you ask a partner and you're like, would you still love me if I was a worm or something? Kind of at its most intense. Like, would you still go to bat for me if it was me or the country?
Joining them for the thriller, Pierce Brosnan, who played the ultimate spy, James Bond.
Stephen is playing with that history, having a lot of fun with it, and I'm sure, Pierce is aware of that.
As for their own spy skills, they shared who has easy tells and who can keep a poker face.
Oh, wow. Do you have any tells? Does anyone play poker?
I do,
terrible at this.
Yeah, I do. I guess I concentrate on not doing anything,
So we know you're lying when you're not doing anything. When you're doing things, you're telling the truth.
Well, you see, I'm not doing anything most of the time, so it's hard to tell the difference.
If it is Catherine, do you really think you can do it? I don't know.
Black Bag is in theaters March 14th. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
And that's our time for tonight. Thank you for joining us. We're going to leave you with video of a newborn dancing lemur and his parents at the Chester Zoo in England. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.